Hey everybody, welcome back. Today I'm going to be looking at getting a new Space Engineers mod list set up, but it's not completely new. This is going to be a few more mods added in off the last list we did, and just a few taken out. Keep in mind that when I do these mods, they are completely fresh out of the box. I do not modify mods as I do not like to dig into the settings, and I don't have a lot of time to modify this many mods at once. So if that's something you guys are interested in, go ahead and do that, obviously. But when you're watching this, just keep in mind that I do test these straight out of the box and I do not change them. Let's get started. So, to start us off, we're going to be going with hover engines. Now, I looked at these for a while and I finally decided to jump into them, and I'm glad I did. You have your normal ones and your armored ones, and they're pretty much as they sound. They are hover engines. As you see, I got 3 attached here. I have done some rigorous testing with them to kind of give you guys a little bit of a showcase here. So they kind of just keep you around. You still will need some kind of atmo thruster or some kind of any thruster really to kind of help you move around, in a gyro of course. And these do kind of work a little bit, not necessarily static wise, but they will hold you if your gyro is moving a little bit. You can adjust these settings. They are configurable to have like strength and stuff like that. But as I'm about to show you, if you're not careful, you can still crash with them. If I swing down too hard, so I kind of hit that ice right there and took a chunk out, and I lost my engine. So you got to be a little bit careful with them, as they will still break pretty easily. But despite that, they are pretty powerful in themselves. Alright, up next we have upgradable gyros. Obviously a very, very big gyro. I personally just don't like having rows and rows of gyros, and I like this feature just to have a really nice big gyro. This does come with a little bit of an upgrade station. I have an upgrade module. This is the actual gyro, and then you have a booster right here. This is a support beam mod that is going to be a lot more cosmetic, as will a lot of these. This is kind of going to be of a more creative and cosmetic style building, a lot more creative and not focusing on a lot more of the hardcore survival elements. So these are super cool. They allow a lot more visible framework to be put in and not just have solid blocks everywhere. This is going to be a very large mod. These Life Tech energy systems are going to be deuterium based, which you can pull from stone and ice and convert into the deuterium gas, which can be used to power fusion engines, technically thrusters, and then your generators. You will also get these little guys over here, which are your fuel cells, which use hydrogen and oxygen, and they provide a little bit of power based off of those intake. This is the big generator, 5 gigawatts, super powerful, and the medium one at 3 gigawatts, and then the very small one at 62.5, still super powerful. These are the deuterium tanks. They can get pretty large, you can hold quite a bit, and the thrusters, which is with like absolutely colossal thrusters, so if you have very big ships, you'll appreciate that. Moving on to some of the smaller cosmetic ones, you have these like agricultural kind of greenhouse designs. These are super good for all kinds of different designs and implications that you can make with them. I love them a lot. So we got like some wheat here, a mushroom farm, which looks just super clean in general. And I got your hydro farm, your shelf farm, another flat one, another kind of wheat one, even trees. And then you do have this like kind of algae farm, which honestly looks super sick also by itself. And I've even used it in designs to kind of like look like a radiator and stuff like that. So super cool on that part. Now this is a hover rail mod. So you might be thinking like, why do I have hover engines and hover rails? Well, they are different. And these ones kind of will use the middle piece to hover over the left piece, kind of like a trail system. And they can be a lot more stable. They both have their own designs and are totally unique to themselves, and they both have a lot of designs that you can make out of them. These ones are scientific machines. These do generate you space credits based off of what type of machine it is. Some work in space, some work in the atmosphere, some work in certain gravity fields, etc. It kind of just puts an element into the game that kind of just lets you kind of actually do a little bit of work. Like, you know, you're up in space, you're working with all this technology, and you're actually getting a little bit rewarded with it here. Coming up with this one, we got the pipelines mod. This one is super cool, and I am personally a big fan of static planet builds that kind of build more of a settlement than just a very large ship that does everything. And so this is one of those that helps with that. Keep in mind that when you do build these, you do have to build them off of 2 different grids. You cannot build them on the same grid. These can get pretty long, I think up to a kilometer, and they just look really good, and they're a really aesthetic design, which is also semi-functional. These drills are static drills that you actually place over ore deposits, and it will mine them. So I will say with these that they are quite slow in comparison to many others that can be modifiable if you're interested in that stuff, just kind of up to you guys. I don't personally do that stuff. And then also keep in mind that the big one and sometimes the small ones will produce a lot of sound and sometimes will shake. So just keep that in mind, that it can be very overwhelming in its immersiveness. So sometimes you might want to build like a minefield further out or something like that. But go ahead and test it out, see how you feel about it. Following up with drill systems, we do have our nano drill. This is following up with the build and repair systems. This drill is extremely powerful, almost overpowered if you will. So just keep that in mind. Once you set it down, it just drills everything around it with nanobots and doesn't have to move. So just keep that in mind that it is extremely powerful. This is the Ganymede conveyors. Another very cool mod. We're going to have an entire series through this one, where it kind of just updates a lot of the ones, and these alone just have a really, really good looking texture and kind of a new design and that are really sleek. We come with some stairs and some lights. Again, very sleek, looks exactly like it should be there. Some med stations, which again, very good looking. Some incinerators, which can have many applications. Instead of just throwing something out, you can just burn them straight in that. Just be careful because that does burn everything it comes into contact with. So you got to blacklist or whitelist your stuff. I put 242,000 gravel in there one time and it ate it in a second. So keep that in mind. These are going to be our assemblers and our refineries. These have 12 times the speed as normal ones. They do require Ganymede to make those, so just keep that in mind. This is the Ganymede's version of O2 and hydrogen producer. Again, 12 times the speed. This is some landing gear it has through it, magnetic. And these are the upgrade modules that attach to those ones. Very sleek and kind of a very obelisk feeling. They do also have storage containers. Again, 12 times the capacity. There is also this solar tower. This produces 20 times more than one solar panel. This does move and follow the sun. However, it is not up right now, so it's kind of just doing its best. Again, a very sleek looking design. Keep in mind that when you build this, you do have to build these rotor pieces exactly. So be careful because that can be a little bit complicated. This is the reactor through Ganymede. It uses uranium, but it is a quantum reactor. Very sleek and flat looking design. Kind of a more built-in design. Not many people focus on something that's not, big and kind of bold. This one is one of my personal favorites. It looks really good. This is like a normal jump drive, just in the Ganymede version, but it just looks really cool. I would personally use this in a lot of designs that weren't just jump drives. And you do have these pistons, 50 meters with no transportation of resources and 35 with transportation. You can kind of see, got these discs versus these hollow circles. The one that does transport goes up to 35, the one that doesn't goes up to 50. Just keep in mind that there is still technically a block here, so they are not, you can't go through them or anything like that. And this is the airlock you can put on your ship. Not only does it connect to your ships, it also allows you to transport material as well as yourself with an airlock. So you kind of just hop on through, got this, kind of disables your airlock, turn it back on. These ones are going to be a mini reactor pack by Night Owl, and super cool design. Now keep in mind, some of these do start getting very powerful as you get into late game with these. I personally feel that's okay. I feel like power is a very, very easy resource in this game, and the more overpowered you get, it doesn't really change anything, because these do use a little bit less, but they are still a really good mod, and the designs are phenomenal. As you can see, they look really good. So I think it's really good to have a bunch of different varieties of power, just to kind of know you can have different systems developed from it. These are molecular force fields, essentially hangar doors that you can go through, and they can get quite long. These are configurable, as you can change colors, and they can even change colors based off of if they're active, deactivated, etc. And this is the battery pack mod. This is essentially 9 batteries just in a 3x3. They have a very good looking design, kind of like they're meant to be built on each other, obviously. And so that one would be 35 batteries, but this one is actually only 4 battery packs. So super cool design. So keep in mind that these mods seriously enrich Space Engineers. It is a phenomenal game built on top of these, and it feels like you kind of get this endless kind of design of all these different mods and implications that you can put into it. So be sure to thank the mod creators for putting all of these out, and definitely keep a tab on their workshop pages and stuff like that. If you do have any trouble with these mods, also check into those. They usually have a bugs forum to kind of help people out. The authors are usually pretty good about keeping up with these. Just keep in mind that some of these do get pretty old, so sometimes the authors are inactive or they are not keeping up with the build design because they have moved on, which is totally okay. And I will have all of those Steam Workshop profiles linked into these mods as well. Just keep in mind that with the last video, that will also have all of the ones from the previous video, as well as all the previous workshop profiles. So hopefully this video kind of helps you guys start building worlds and come up with some seriously awesome designs. Again, all these mod creators, super big thanks to all of them. Good luck to you guys playing with these mods, and hopefully you enjoy them, and I'm excited to see what you all come up with.